Arlecchino is one of my new favorite characters to play. She is cracked. And there are multiple reasons for this. Did you guys know that Arlecchino is the first character since the beginning of the game that can swap off and still maintain her pyro infusion? And this is obviously because of the Bond of Life mechanic that she has. Even when she's off field, she keeps the Bond of Life, which means she keeps the pyro infusion. This is huge. It makes her so much more comfortable to play. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the only characters that keep their infusion when they swap off are Diluc and Noelle. And that's just wild to me, honestly. The fact they haven't made characters that can swap off comfortably and like maintain rotations and stuff in your off-field buffs, that is wild. But Arlecchino doesn't care, she can do that, which is great. That was always an issue I had when I was playing characters like Hu Tao and Yoimiya. Let's say if I've run out of Yelan's burst and I just want to swap off and activate it again. Once I've swapped off, Hu Tao has lost her pyro infusion. And so many DPS characters are like this too. Whether it's their burst, their elemental skill, if they give them an infusion, usually if they swap off, they lose that infusion. And that usually leaves your rotations feeling really gross. Ito, for example, his ultimate infusion lasts for 11 seconds. And one of Ito's best supports is obviously Goro. But how long does Goro's buff last? Only 10 seconds. And when you count the time it takes to swap off with the character and cast Ito's elemental burst, you're not gonna keep that entire buff. But again, with Arlecchino, she doesn't care. As long as you have that Bond of Life, she's going to do pyro infusion. Which also means you can just swap off comfortably to maintain all your buffs. It is great. Also, speaking of Arlecchino's Bond of Life mechanic, usually to get a Bond of Life, you have to hit them with a charge attack after you hit them with your elemental skill. But there actually is a really sneaky, comfy addition to this. Enemies hit by Arlecchino's E and they have that cross symbol on them, Arlecchino will still gain a Bond of Life even if that enemy dies while she's off field. Which means even if you don't get a charge attack off, you're still getting Bond of Life. And that's crazy, like that's so nice, that's such a good mechanic. It makes her ridiculously comfortable to play. Now there are two teams that I really like to play with Arlecchino, and that is Chevreuse Overload, and of course there's the classic Arlecchino Vape. Now Vape is obviously self-explanatory, it's going to be really good regardless, but I do want to showcase Overload. And the reason for that is because Overload is the underdog. I want to showcase how it's actually really good with Arlecchino. A reason why people don't like it is because Overload can knock enemies really far away. So you're busy trying to hit them, but enemies keep getting knocked away so you can't reach them. This is what some people like to call an anti-CC, an anti-crowd control, where instead of pulling enemies towards you so you can hit them, you are instead pushing them away. But once again, Arlecchino does not give a shit. When Arlecchino attacks, she moves into the enemy really quickly. Kinda like how Wriothesley does, actually. She also has this really cool move where she yanks the enemy back towards her. She literally pulls enemies into her. Also, while we're here on the topic of animations, they are really sick. I really like the flick she does with her scythe at the end of her normal attack 3, and the part where she drags her scythe along the floor for the final hit. Also, actually, fun fact, if you have her pyro infusion while she does that final attack, she leaves a skid mark on the ground. Just like that, it is so cool. Okay, but we're gonna jump ahead and I'm gonna showcase to you guys Arlecchino Overload. And honestly, this new Abyss is the perfect thing to test her on. This second half here is full of enemies that can be knocked away with Overload. But as you're about to see, Arlecchino, she doesn't care. Seriously though, get Chevreuse. She is amazing. Such a good character. Okay, but before we start this, there is one thing I do want to point out. I am C1 R1 Arlecchino, so the numbers here may be a bit inflated. But this will definitely work for you even if you don't have her signature weapon and you're C0. But let me just show you guys why Overload Arlecchino is just so damn good. So first, we can apply her E, just like that. Trigger an Overload to decrease their res. Swap the Chevreuse. Get her attack buff with her E there. You have to hold her E trigger there. Now we snapshot the buffs with Beidou, then with Fischl, and then we charge attack, get that Bond of Life, and we go absolutely ham. By this, see? And Overload also interrupts these guys, and they're quite big, so they can get interrupted a lot there. See how quick that was? Still got plenty of time on the clock. Well, the first half was really quick. But we can do exactly the same thing here. The rotation is so smooth. Snapshot the buff, snapshot of Fischl, and then we just go straight back into it. I'm actually going to chase this guy down because he will get a pyro shield if I don't, and I'm stuck. Thanks, Mirror Maiden. There we go. Then we chase her down. Because Overload, Chevreuse shreds their resistance too. Now these two are the hard ones too. So I actually want to show these two really closely, because they will get knocked away by overload. So we're going to apply the E right there, do exactly the same thing, trigger overload, Chevreuse buff, snapshot with Beidou, snapshot with Fischl, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. Now you will see that even though I'm knocking them away with overload, Arlecchino is landing every hit. Look at that. She's landing every hit, she's moving into them, and she pulls them back with her third hit like that. See? It is really damn sick, and I love it. So we're going to refresh the rotation, do exactly the same thing, Chevreuse, snapshot, Fischl E also snapshots there, and we just do it all over again. And we go absolutely ham. Look how good that damage is. And this one over here has just been chilling. And we can do exactly the same thing. And just like that, and she's still alive. Boop. Done. It is so clean. It's so smooth. You also have the added protection of Beidou's shield, which is really nice. Hopefully we can get like a proper Electro shielder in the future. That would be great. So obviously those are really inflated numbers, right? Because I am C1, which is a huge power boost. But I just wanted to show how easy that was. The rotation was so smooth, it just flowed like water. It was so nice. Even if you're C0 and don't have your signature weapon, I guarantee you that team, as long as you have good energy recharge on your Beidou, is going to absolutely destroy that side of the abyss. So yeah, Arlecchino, she's really damn good. She's definitely gonna be my go-to pyro character from now on. Sorry, Hu Tao, you're benched now, girl. Honestly, that kind of summarizes it. She's just a more fun Hu Tao. Anyways, what do you guys think of Arlecchino? Do let me know down in the comments below. She's really fun. She's definitely my new favorite addition to the game. Dude, Fontaine characters are just winning. They're so damn fun. Navia, Neuvillette, Rivesley, Farina, and now Arlecchino. They're so good. They're so much fun to play. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to drop a like down there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. And as usual, I'll see you all in the next one.